guess who's back with a book video? What has it been, you guys? Like 6 months or so? What a journey it has been to decide what I want to do with my book content. I posted a few videos on like my main channel, wasn't loving that. I also haven't been reading as intense, not nearly as intensively as I was the last like 5 to 6 months of 2022. So I also was like, I don't know if there's a space for me to make content about books. But a few of you guys have been asking or commenting, just wondering if I'm ever going to talk about books again. And so I just decided to post back on my like book channel, if you will, and just like, I'm not taking this channel too seriously. My editing doesn't need to be perfect, my lighting doesn't need to be perfect, but I do want a space to just talk about books because I've read, well, I recently finished Daisy Jones and the Great Undoing, and oh my gosh, I just love this series so much, and I'm like, I just want people to talk to about books. So I'm back with like a huge stack of books here. These are all of the books that I bought the last like 6 months or so since I posted my last book haul, approximately. Some of these, like, maybe I'm missing a few, maybe I'm accidentally repeating a few, but I mean, it's a lot of books sitting in front of me, but I actually feel like for 6 months worth of time, I've been a lot better about buying books. I've been reading off of Kindle Unlimited, and like I said, I just haven't been reading as much, haven't been finding the time to read as much, so I have a little bit less books than I like anticipated I would. So I figured we could just chat about all the books that have come into my life in the last 6 months or so. Some of these I know nothing about, some of them I'm super excited about. If you don't know, I'm terrible at like describing books, but we're just gonna chat about the books that I got, okay? If you guys have recommendations, if there's books you want to hear me talk about that I should read first, let me know in the comments. But other than that, let's jump into this book haul. Okay, the lighting is gonna annoy me though. Whatever, it is what it is. I said I'm not gonna take this too seriously. Okay, I counted and I have 26 books. I'm just gonna go from top to bottom, and actually this is a book that I bought today. I actually have a few books right now in my Amazon cart that I am planning to purchase probably tomorrow when I get paid. But I couldn't wait to film this video. I just wanted to film it. I'm looking for like, there's some Jennifer, starts with a W. There's like a couple of like beach read type of books that I want to read from her. If you guys have any like beach ready type of books that you think I should pick up, let me know. But I saw this at Target when I went to buy 5-Star Weekend by, is it Ellen Hildebrand? Which the Hotel Nantucket I want to reread. That is a book I read last summer. Literally obsessed with it. Such a good book. So I was really excited to pick up her latest, which is 5-Star Weekend. I believe this is about, I just started this at the pool today, but I'm only like 13 pages in. I believe this like foodie blogger's husband dies, and really that's all I know. But I loved Hotel Nantucket so much, and there was like a social media aspect to that book as well. I just figured this would be such a good one. I also just feel like Ellen Hildebrand does such an amazing job at just like setting the scene of Nantucket. It makes me literally want to go to Nantucket, and it's all I want to read about. So I am currently reading this book right now. If you guys have read it, let me know what you rated it. Okay, and while I was there, I picked up Rock Bottom Girl from Lucy Score. I actually have another Lucy Score book in here. I did pick up and I have read Things We Never Got Over. Why did I not love this quite as much as everybody else did? I was so, maybe it's because I think I read this right after I read a couple of back-to-back books from the Addicted series, and so maybe that was a part of it. But I didn't give this a 5-star. I thought it was gonna be a 5-star read. I think I gave it a 4, and it didn't make me super excited to go out and pick up the second book in this series. If you guys live under a rock and don't know, this is Small Town Romance, and it was cute. I just felt like sometimes if things are like too cutesy, like I just can't do it. That's why I love me some toxic romance like you get in the Magnolia Park series. But it was fine. It was fine. It didn't make me super excited to read the next Lucy Score book, but then I saw this, and first of all, the cover just like, I was like, okay, I like the colors of the cover. And then there were X's and O's on it, so it made me think sports, and I love sports. Love sports. So it sounds like 38-year-old Marley gets dumped, And then I think she might move home. I like briefly read the back, you guys. Like I said, I'm not good at describing books. But she like moves home and then she has to go back to coach her high school soccer team. And it sounds like the soccer team is like a hot mess. And then there is like a really hot track coach. And they form an alliance, fake relationship. Lucy Score does write really good spicy scenes. So I was like, okay, this sounds actually interesting. As always, it's really long, but not as long as some of hers. It's the author's note is on page 500, so less than 500 pages. Excited about this one. I feel like this would also be like just a good easy summer read. We can talk about, speaking of the Addicted series, I picked that series back up. I read Addicted for Now, and then after that I had already read, in the order that you read it, then you read Kiss the Sky if you read it in the author's suggested reading. And I had already read Kiss the Sky, so then I think I read it, yeah, Addicted for Now, and then right after I read Thrive, which is Thrive the one? Oh, you guys, I also read Hot House Flower, which I'm all over the place, can you tell? I thought I was like ride or die for Lillian Lowe, but then I read Hot House Flower, which is Rake and Daisy's story, and I was like, it's Rake Meadows for me. That is like who has my heart. Would love to know if you read the series. Is it Connor, Lowe, or Rake for you? Let a girl know. But I did purchase Thrive after I finished Hot House Flower because this would have been the next book. I think there's only one book that I have left to read in the Addicted portion of the series, which is just going to be so earth-shattering and heartbreaking to me. But I did pick up Fuel the Fire because Kristen and Becca Ritchie are currently getting new covers for everything, so it's really hard to get the physical copy of some of these books, and I just much prefer to read the physical copy. I know I said I was reading on my Kindle, which I am, but I do really like to have the physical copy sometimes. So I purchased Fuel the Fire even though I'm not quite there yet. And if you guys like, if you like to read a book that feels like you're like sitting down and watching a reality television show, like that is what you get with this. I think about these characters like day to day. I like just love this series so much. As I've mentioned a couple of times, I did pick up Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I picked this up when it launched. Like I had to order it from the UK to get it because there was like a debacle when it released. You like literally couldn't get it in the US. You couldn't order it on Amazon. And then I got it and it took me months to read this. And I think the reason is because I knew I would be in a reading slump after finishing this book because I just freaking love this series so much. It's basically just like toxic romance. There's a bit of, not necessarily a, like mafia vibes, but like yeah, kind of like gangster mafia, especially in Daisy. What is the word I'm looking for? Mafia? It's not like a mafia, but kind of. Anyway, Christian and Daisy absolutely have my freaking heart. And before she releases the next book, which I believe will be Back to Magnolia and BJ, I'm gonna reread the first Magnolia Parks and Long Way Home, and then the next like Daisy Hates book that comes out, I'm gonna reread the first two because I love them so much. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Magnolia Park series. If you love it, if you hate it, let me know. We talk about all of my book of the month books. I took a pause on the book of the month because I literally haven't been reading any of the ones that I have. I don't even know how long ago, but I got, is it Babel or Babel by R.F. Wong? I don't know if I will ever have it in me. Oh, must have been around February that I got it because I have my bookmark in here and it looks like Valentine's Day. It says welcome to the friend zone in a good way. I love my little book of the month bookmarks. I will miss those while I'm on a pause. Maybe I'll read this next fall when it's like dark academia times. I know really nothing about this other than people love it and it's, I think, dark academia. Is there a fantasy aspect to this? I'm not sure. It looks like such a thick, dense book, and that's typically not my reading style, so we'll see. These two are two that like I picked but I wasn't super excited about. So I have Georgie All Along, and I literally have no idea what this is about. Longtime personal assistant Georgie made a career by putting herself first, then she comes across a diary. This must be a romance. I don't know. It sounded cute that she was a personal assistant. I thought that was a cute touch. Plus, I loved the yellow cover, but I really know nothing about this. and haven't really felt that motivated to read it. And then I also picked up The Reunion. I did see someone write a review that basically said this is like you're watching the reunion of a reality television show, which, I mean, that is just perfection for me. I love trash TV. I love reality TV. Who is obsessed with Vanderpump aside from me? Love it so much. So I was like, okay, like maybe I could get down with that, but like in a book, we'll see. I believe it's about like, it almost, when I don't know what it's about. Should I read it? Yeah. Okay, I read the little blurb and I'm still confused. Who knows? This I feel like would be another good like summer read, so maybe I'll get around to that. And then this one has been on my wish list for a little bit, and I just added it as an add-on in one of my boxes. It is Really Good, actually, by Monica Hiiii, and I believe it's about someone who was recently divorced. It says Maggie is fine, she's doing really good actually. Sure, she's broke, her graduate thesis on something obscure is going nowhere, and her marriage only lasted 608 days. But at the ripe age of 29, Maggie is determined to embrace her new life as a surprisingly young divorcee. Now she has time to take up 9 hobbies, eat hamburgers at 4 a.m. and get back out there, sex-wise, with the support of her tough-loving academic advisor, Maris, her newly divorced friend, Amy, and her group chat, Naturally. It says it's a laugh-out-loud, funny-filled with sharp observations. Really Good actually is a tender and bittersweet comedy that lays bare the uncertainties of modern love, friendship, and that search for that thing we like to call happiness. I just feel like this is like maybe gonna be like a portrait of my life right now, and I was like, yes, I want to read this. And then the last one, I'm actually really excited about this one. This is Did You Hear About Kitty Carr? I've heard this compared to Evelyn Hugo, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, or if you like that or like Taylor Jenkins Reid in general, I've heard that this would be a good option, and I do plan to read this one really soon. It just looks like a chunky one, even though it's really not. It's less than 400 pages. So I will get around to reading this. When I read the blurb of this, it kind of gave me like old Hollywood vibes. So I am excited to read this one. Have you guys read this? I know this one I feel like is really trendy right now, so would love to know if you've read it yet. A book I feel like everyone has already read except for me is Good Girl, Bad Blood. I did read, is it A Good Girl's Guide to Murder? When did I read that? Maybe beginning of this year. Loved it. Gave that one 5 stars. So I picked this one up and haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but it's the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Is that what the series is? I've heard that these books get scarier as you read them, and I very seldomly dip my toes in anything scary, even though this is like young adult, so we'll see. And speaking of like horror slash thrillers, my daughter loves to like pick out thrillers for me. So we were at Barnes and Noble like around the time of my birthday, and she picked 2 books out for me to buy for myself, and it is My Lovely Wife, which I actually had heard about this prior and was really excited about it. I believe it's about a husband and wife, and in order to spice up their marriage, they like, I believe, like kill or murder people for fun. I think, could be wrong. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that's what this is about. I'm terrified to read this, and I'm not really in the mood at all for thrillers this time of year, but you know, perhaps September, October time, we'll get around to that. And then I have this one, which I had never heard of before. It's called Death of a Dancing Queen by Kimberly G. Giarratano. And it says, saddled with bills and her mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis, Billie Levine runs a private investigation firm out of the corner booth of her favorite New Jersey den, hoping the pickles and flexible hours will keep her family afloat. So when a rich kid with a nasty drug habit offers her a stack of cash to find his missing girlfriend, how can Billie refuse? But dollar signs become death threats when the missing persons case embroils Billie in the intense standoff between a Jewish mobster and a skinhead group. Toss in an unsolved murder of a cabaret dancer and the reappearance of Billie's ex-boyfriend with his own rap sheet, and she is regretting every decision that got her to this point. Okay, this sounds like a really fun read. Let me know if you guys have heard about this, if you've read it. Would love to know your thoughts. This maybe I'll read this summer. We'll see. I think those, oh no, I have one more I was gonna say scary book, one more thriller, and it's The Kind Worth Killing. I can't remember who I heard talking about this, but when she was talking about it, I was like, ooh, that sounds really good. If I'm remembering correctly, and again, I don't really want to like read the back of everything, but I believe this guy and this girl like meet on a plane and they like have a connection, but then she finds out he's married, maybe he gets like a text on the plane, I could be wrong, but she maybe convinces him to kill his wife or something like along those lines. Okay, the blurb is really short. It says, with his flight delayed, Ted Severson meets Lily Kinter, a magnetic stranger in an airport bar. After too many martinis, he confesses his darkest secrets about his wife's infidelity and how he wishes her dead. Okay, so not exactly what I said, but dang. Without missing a beat, Lily offers to help him carry out the task. Okay, that sounds fun. Okay, I have a bunch of these just like cutesy, like you find them on the cutesy romance table, I feel like, you know. I feel like I buy these and then I'm like, ugh, do I really like these cutesy romances anymore? Just give me all the toxic. I have X's and O's. I purchased this around Valentine's Day time and had every intention of reading it around Valentine's Day and then never got around to it. I believe it's like an influencer love story. I can't remember if it is a booktuber or like a firefighter and maybe just like an Instagrammer. And I think she like goes back to like redate all of her exes or something. But then like, I think her and the firefighter probably fall in love. I don't know. Then I have The Nanny. I literally just picked this up because it was buy one, get one half off. And it sounded like a spicy, good old time, which I felt like would be the perfect, easy pool read. So I don't really know anything about it other than it has something to do with a nanny and an OnlyFans account. I think she becomes the nanny of a DILF extraordinaire. And he's already watched her like OnlyFans account. I'm like, okay, that sounds inappropriate and right up my alley. Then I have the Kiss Quotient. I literally only picked this up because I heard someone say it had really good spice in it and I was feeling it at the time. Haven't gotten around to reading it. I did purchase Oh, you guys, can you, like, did the sun fry my brain at the pool today? But I also did film for my main channel, and I wasn't even intending to film this video. Then I was like, oh, I will. But it's getting towards the end of the day, and my brain is not working. But I picked up Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood because I have not yet read one of her books, and I'm like, okay. I just feel like I need to read it so that I know. And I picked up, I think, the second book, not her first book, but that's okay. I also picked up Funny You Should Ask. I picked this up in February as well, around Valentine's Day. I brought this with me to California with every intention to read it. I was on a work trip, and then I definitely read, I remember reading like 10 pages while sitting in the hot tub, and I liked it, actually. I did like it. It's about a girl, I believe, who's writing like a piece on a Hollywood actor for a magazine, and they have history. They have like a history. And that's all I know. I did purchase One Italian Summer when it came out in paperback. This is something I've had my eye on since it released. I think it's just the color and the fact that it is like based in Italy, or there's a plot. They're in Italy, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. I just thought like the setting was something that really spoke to me. I have started this one. I wasn't like getting super into it. I got to page 70 and then I moved on to something else. But it is a really short book, and I'm behind on my reading goals for the month, so I really should get or not for the month, for the year. So I really should just pick this back up. I feel like this is a good pool book. I'm gonna set this aside. I should have like a summer specific TBR, but I wasn't like super wowed by that within the first 70 pages. It's about this girl whose mom died, and her mom was like everything to her. And so basically, I think it was like at her mom's funeral, she told her husband she like doesn't know if she wants to be married to him, and then she decided to take this trip to Italy that her and her mom had planned before her mom got sick. And that's where I've gotten to. I did pick up Twisted. This is the 4th book in the Never After series. I freaking love the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. My favorite is Wretched. Is that the right way that you say it? Wretched, or is it Wretched? Wretched. Or is it something else? Then I loved Hooked. Scarred was my least favorite, so I'll be curious to see if I like Twisted. I mean, I liked all of them. I think I rated all of them somewhere between 3 and 4 stars, but Wretched was so good. Hooked was also good. If you didn't know, they are basically like reimaginings of fairy tales. So Hooked was obviously, I almost said, yeah, Tinkerbell. Cinderella? No. Yes? Cinderella? No, Peter Pan. My goodness. Scarred was a reimagining of The Lion King, and then Wretched was a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz. And this one, Twisted is a reimagining of Aladdin, which it's not like a retelling. It's literally like kind of just like a mafia usually like a mafia romance sort of situation. I don't feel like mafia romance is the word I'm looking for, but like a dark. They're like dark romance retellings using like the same names from the fairy tale, and it's usually like what happens if like the bad guy ends up winning in the end. They're really good. I did pick up my first Mariana Zapata book. I have not yet gotten around to reading it, and really, so I got All Roads Lead Here. This just sounded like right up my alley, the type of story that the type of book I would absolutely love. It is, I believe, either the girl's husband dies or they get divorced and she goes back to her small town and then a romance ensues. It just sounded really cute, but it's really long, and so I keep putting it off because I'm like, oh, this is gonna put me even more behind in my reading goals. But I think I would, I like the feel of the book. It's like one of those books that like just feels good in your hands. I'm like, I could maybe read this fast. If you guys have read this one, should I read it this summer or should I put off? The front cover kind of, maybe it's because she's wearing like a beanie and a flannel, kind of is giving me like maybe I should read this in September, because it matters what the cover looks like, you know. But I am excited to read my first Mariana Zapata because I feel like she gets so many rave reviews. I did pick up Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. This actually released while I was in California, and I picked it up in the airport, and I was finishing the second Finley Donovan book when I purchased this, and then I never got around to reading it. I thought I was going to read it like back to back. This is less than 300 pages. I really should get around to reading this. I just feel like if I'm not in the mood for this, then it's not gonna be as enjoyable. Like, I really do like El Casamano's writing. It's really funny. I love the characters in this book, but I feel like they're like characters I have to be in the mood to read, and I don't always feel in the mood to read it. And then the final two books, you guys, I picked up because everyone was raving about Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. She also is a Minnesota author. Holla, I live in Minnesota, so I was like, gotta support. I am really interested in picking up or reading more of her books, even though I haven't even read this one. The one thing I will say, and this is so shallow of me, but I think that this is like, do they call it closed door romance, where there's like not spicy scenes? And I'm like, shame on me for like expecting every romance that I read now to need a spicy spice to like make me interested in it. But I'm like, am I gonna feel like this is a waste of my time? Maybe I feel that way because I read The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams and I thought I was gonna love that book. That is also closed door romance, and I just didn't love that one. But I've heard nothing but great things about this one. I believe it's about an ER doctor and a carpenter, and they live like maybe 2 hours away, and it's about their romance and how they figured their life out from there. That's like the most vague description ever. It's probably not even correct or accurate either. And then the final book, you guys, that I picked up is Nora Goes Off Script. I have wanted this book for such a long time, but it's been in hardcover, and then I saw it's in softcover now, and I decided to buy it. It is about a romance channel screenwriter who knows the formula for love better than anyone. But when her too-good-to-work husband leaves her and their 2 kids, Nora turns her marriage's collapse into the best script of her life. When it's picked up for the big screen and set to film at her home with former sexiest man alive, Leo Vance, cast as her ex-husband, Nora's life will never be the same. After shooting wraps, Nora finds Leo on her porch with a half-empty bottle of tequila and a proposition. He'll pay $1,000 a day to stay for a week. She could use the money, but it's the need in his eyes that make her say yes. 7 days, it's the blink of an eye or an eternity, depending on how you look at it. Enough time to fall in love, enough time to break your heart. Yes, nothing sounds better than this. And it's short too. This looks like a perfect summer read. If you guys have read this one, let me know your thoughts. Also, let me know what summer romance or just summer books in general you recommend, your beach reads. Let a girl know down below. That is gonna wrap it up for today's video. I'm so embarrassed. I feel like this was such a chaotic haul, but I just wanted to post a book video again to let you guys know I'm here. I'll chat about books. I don't know, tell me what content you want to see me film. I don't know how frequently I'll post to this channel, but I'll try and post at least 3 or 4 videos a month. Like, I feel like that would be a good goal. I'm just like not reading enough, it feels like, to even really do like a monthly reading recap at time. Like I'm really reading like 2 to 3 books a month lately, yikes. But let me know what content you'd like to see. Thank you guys so much if you made it to the end of the video. Would love to know what you are currently reading. Thank you for supporting my channel. If you're interested in makeup, I'll leave my main channel linked below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch and for supporting me and my channel. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.